Hello, Sagittarius. This is your July 2024 reading using the tarot. Saturn is retrograde in the sign of Pisces, and that is making a square to whatever you have in Sagittarius, be it your sun, your moon, your rising, anything else. And that could be why things feel a little slower, a little clunkier, a little gloomier. And there's something about this energy that makes you feel confused, Seven of Cups, but also a little sad, and at times just not your total full self. But this energy will pass as the transit of Saturn continues to move by degree further away from the placements you have in Sagittarius. Let's see what's coming through in July. Your energy right away, but in reverse. So you are embodied by the Temperance card, Major Arcana, but I did think that there was something about the present energy that is just not quite fully right for you yet. You couldn't make this up. The Knight of Rods, your energy in reverse, your mutable energy. The Five of Cups, that's probably that sadness. The Justice card, our first upright major, another major arcana. Wow, the World card. Things have been very important for you lately. I have the Five of Swords and the Eight of Swords, the King of Swords, the Page of Swords, and finally, we're closing this reading with the Hanged Man. So I've pulled 10 cards here, Sagittarius, to dive into, but I will be going even deeper with these messages in the extended reading, which I will link below. I'll pull a further 10 cards and get into even more depth. So if that feels like you want to look at that, follow the link below. And if not, if this is all you're feeling called to come see today, well, then let's just get right into it. Saturn square, right? Saturn retrograde. Saturn is only going to transit a small portion of the sign Pisces in this retrograde. But what it will do is it will offer a reality check, which I think is the King of Swords in your environment. There is somebody in your environment who's here to help and who's here to help to lift you up, help to kind of give advice, offer some sort of structure, stability, give you a message you need to hear, I think. If this isn't somebody in your environment, where in this reading it looks like it is, giving you advice or offering you tough love or just giving it to you straight, this actually could just be the energy of Saturn retrograde in your environment and you being very tuned into that as a mutable sign, because Saturn is also transit retrograde in a mutable sign. So you're going to feel that impact even more than other signs. And this could be about a reality check at the moment and a limit, a perceived limit on your direction, on your mission. And it could be a timing thing. We have both of your energies, your major and your court card, both in reverse in the bottom of the deck. Or in the center of the reading, my bad. Look at this upright. If this was upright, I'd be saying things like, Sagittarius, you're going through a period of ascension and you're taking action in a very directed way towards your goals. In the reversal, there is still that quality. However, there's something about being the timing on it, or it being more clunky, it being more delayed, it not moving at the pace that you wish it would. There being still, we saw the Seven of Cups at the bottom of the deck. We saw this kind of confusion still. And there's probably, well, there's reasons for that. The Justice card is here, so we'll dive into that. There is a reason for the fact that this is not working as seamlessly as you would have hoped or would have idealized. And you, like me, Sagittarius, I'm a Pisces, were ruled by Jupiter. At least in ancient times, Pisces was. And this can be, of course it's lucky, of course it's expansive, and it talks a lot about just innate faith, but it can overestimate at times and it can blow out of proportion. I have a feeling that there was something blown out of proportion and you overestimated the reach or the expertise or the awareness or the sureness on this, and it's just probably a work in progress. The Temperance card in the reversal is still pretty benefic to me. You are still divinely guided, and it's just about, what does this outcome card talk about? Surrender. It's just about timing. There is something about you being in limbo even as the month draws to the close, because it looks like there's certain things that you haven't thought about yet. All these sword cards coming through still. There's still some penny drop moment for you this July, it seems. The Knight of Rods, and it gives you a chance to go backwards. Saturn retrograde, we're going backwards. We're moving back over the degrees of Pisces in which Saturn has already crossed over. Well, a small portion of them at least. And the Knight of Rods, yeah, going forward with gusto, with savvy, with determination. In the reversal, we can even see the way it's facing in this reading. It's looking backwards towards the moon, the world card, towards your recent successes, towards your recent victories. I mean, even over the last 2 weeks, you've accomplished a great deal. This world card could be going further back in time. And usually the card that falls here in a little reading like this for a monthly, I would say, yeah, maybe the end of June, very beginning of July, because it's Saturn ruled, and we've got Saturn playing so much. Playing, is that a word we would use with Saturn? I don't think so. It's not a playful energy. We've got Saturn's presence, its dominance, it's like a big dark cloud at times, isn't it? We've got that here lurking in the past energy and in the present and in the upcoming energy for this month. So it's about time, it's about longevity, it's about endurance, it's about tests. And you have been tested recently, oh yes, but you have had a lot of success with the accomplishments and the graduations and the learning and the experience and the wisdom and the determination. And you've really accomplished, I keep saying that word, quite a lot. So I feel like you're right now in the present moment, in a sense, being blocked by the accomplishments of your past. Maybe in the past things came a little bit more naturally to you than they are now. And what is the success you're looking for now? Is it even in the learning? Is it even in the growing? Is it in the making mistakes? Or is there something you want pretty immediately? Is there something that you want, that immediate gratification? And that's not Saturn's game playing. I'm using all the wrong words for Saturn. That's not Saturn's MO. There is no game here. This is about truly learning to be a master at your craft, to be an expert and exalted human being, and to be a great example, and to take responsibility for yourself, and radical self-accountability and self-responsibility, which is not, of course, the same as taking blame, but there is shadow work to be done. We have the Five of Cups, we have the Five of Swords here. There is an invitation to look at your flaws, look at your weaknesses this month, and I don't think you are going to be able to essentially get unstuck. We have a couple cards here suggesting a very stuck energy this month. These are just monthly readings. Things change, but the way I'm seeing it, at least, and take what resonates, obviously, but I don't see a likelihood for getting unstuck this month, or out of the restriction, or out of the ties that bind, or out of the heavier feeling. I mean, Saturn is obviously going to mirror a lot of that, but it's until you look at your own flaws and your own weaknesses, and that's the Five of Swords, an invitation into shadow work, an invitation into possibly accepting that at this time the reason this isn't so seamless in the ascension process, or the rise above, the high road, the mission, the purpose, the reason that there's a reversal on these energies is because perhaps you just don't know it all right now. And it's a matter of learning, and it's a matter of being humble and accepting that there's still a ways to go yet, okay? I know that the successes of the recent past came pretty naturally to you, but it wasn't without your hard work and effort either, Sagittarius. The World card speaks to something like, I don't know, I see people having realize they're pregnant with the World card. I see people graduating from their degree or handing in a thesis, or I see people quitting smoking with this World card, or anything that is a effort. And even if it's a small act of keeping a promise to yourself that you stretch once a week, or you ground your feet in the earth once a week, if you make a small purposeful promise to yourself and you keep it, that's World card energy. But there is something about, and we'll go into it in the extended, there's something about recent successes having come in your eyes easily, but I think that's just you being Jupiterian. I think that this wasn't actually so easy for you. I think that it required all the Saturnian things, the due diligence, the fail, the pick yourself back up again, the continual effort and striving for greatness and improvement, and accepting that time is not always on our side, that it can be limiting and clunky and blocky at times, and still you managed to succeed. And I think that this could be similar, this current goal, this current aspiration of yours, this current wish to ascend into this position of greatness, of like there's like a heroic quality here. Maybe you're on your hero's journey and you're in one of those clunky places on the circle of the hero's journey, well before the return, well before the welcome home, well before the reward even. It could be the period of tribulation on that hero's journey, and you're going to be calling in your allies at this time. The King of Swords, your mentors, your guides, your teachers. You're going to be calling in. It doesn't have to be a masculine energy who's very accomplished and very professional and very well reputed, but there is somebody like that lurking in your environment. Again, it could be Saturn. It really just could be Saturn. And Saturn here could be just manifested in an external as like a professor, or the teacher that never really gave you credit at the time because they saw your potential and they didn't want you to settle. They knew you could be more, accomplish more. Those teachers were always very annoying in my eyes, but they had that Saturnian kind of quality. This could be something like a landlord, it could be something like a father figure, it could be somebody like a friend who just really you feel like they're on your ass. They feel to you as if they are kind of a negative presence, and you know that there's a softness underneath that, and you could, if you wanted to, which I don't think you do, the highest self is like, don't do it, fall victim here and create narratives like, why are they riding me like that? Like, why are they not supportive? Why are they not celebrating me? Well, they know that you could be better. They know that you could do more with this. They know that this isn't ready yet. And I think some of you want a quick fix, some of you just want to get there, and there's too much work to be done. And you will get there. You will get to this greatness, to the hero sort of celebration. You will get to that vision board outcome that you have for yourself. That's what you're so good at, Sagittarius. One of the many things you're so good at. You are the learner. You are the truth seeker. You also are the visionary. And you've got an amazingly creative imagination. You have a lot of faith in yourself. You have a lot of innate self-belief for greatness, for being righteous, and like you might take that for granted. Not all the signs and placements and charts are born with that, and it's a beautiful quality. But until you get fully to that, and you've been there before, so you know you're it, you know you can do it. It just does seem like Saturn's delays are manifesting in the month of July. For a lot of the signs, like the mutable signs, it's not easy. Pisces, Virgo, Saturn, and Gemini. I can hold my hands up. I'm in this party here. Party again. Maybe we should just make it a fucking party. Let's throw a party of the delays and the kind of insecurity, maybe. And then the fixed signs are getting it in the neck with all that fixed sign chaos of like Mars and Uranus conjunction, and then all the planets moving into Leo and opposing Pluto and Aquarius. Okay, you know, cardinal signs, you probably are doing a little bit better this month. But a lot of these readings I can see for those fixed and mutable placements that they're there are blocks and there are challenges, and there's less challenge for you this month. I'm seeing, Sagittarius. It's more like hard work, and they're different things. Like challenges, it's like it's kind of, there's a motivation there, isn't there, with a challenge, like something to sink your teeth into, and a pretty good likelihood that you know you can handle it and overcome it. With hardship or with just difficulty, there can be a real sort of like banging your head on a brick wall, or kind of like watching the grass grow sort of energy. It's slow, it's arduous, and it is just a little bit defeating at times. And I can see that a little bit more in this reading than challenge, if I'm honest. The Five of Cups, and there's that sadness, especially if Saturn is an aspect right now to your moon or your Venus, or even your rising or your sun, let's face it. This is kind of an energy of disappointment, and it could be that you're disappointed in people not celebrating you more, or not rallying, or not like umphing you or poofing you up. I get that impression. Or there could be a genuine loss here, a loss of connection, and you're remembering somebody, and the sad thing is that they're not here as you change for the better, and as you grow, they're not here even to give you that encouragement, and they're also not here to see this rebirth. And you're not in the full rebirth yet, that's still in process. But the World card in the past, there would have been a noticeable change from where you were to now, to where you are now, even if it's not exactly where you want to be. The Justice card, way down in the subconscious. Why have I been avoiding that card? What do you think, Sagittarius? This is in your subconscious, and it's very karmic. The Justice card speaks to decisions and consequences for our actions. Okay, yeah, so you're maybe not fully aware of this, and I think it's so important because it's buried in the subconscious. The mind there, or the psyche of the subconscious layer, knows that there are consequences for what you're doing now. You're going to be affecting your life. You're going to be affecting your personal karma. But there's a possibility that you might even be affecting those around you too. That's a lot of a karmic consequence to think about, isn't it? That's like making a decision, or offering advice, or directing somebody, or making a choice that will actually not only affect your personal karma, but also impersonal karma, and possibly other people's lives will be shifted and swayed by this. Yeah, I mean, that happens all the time, even me making a video like this. Could I possibly sway someone's personal karma? I always would like to think that people take what resonates from videos like this, but you really never know. And the subconscious mind knows this about this personal endeavor of yours, this mission, this purpose, this idea, this direction you're going in, or aspiring at least to go in. And the reason there might be something being held back is because the subconscious mind is asking you, have you considered the consequences of this? Have you considered that your voice, your presence, your ideas, your vision and your journey are consequential to you or even others? If you have children, normally the decisions we make are consequential to them. If you are in a duty of care to other people, be it through your job, or be it through a vocation, or something to do with looking after family, quite often your actions and decisions are consequential. So it's an advice card. Use your discernment. The reason that perhaps this is clunky, messy, sad, and slow, they're a little bit more Saturnian retrograde words, is perhaps because the full consequence and the full, I'm trying to say this word right, breadth, wideness of your Jupiterian expanse in the, so I'm born with Jupiter, planet of expansion, directly opposite Saturn, planet of limitation. So my whole life has been an opposition between the biggest and the most benefic, and the sort of doomiest and the sort of most limiting. And it's always a push-pull between. Some days I feel like the party animal, or free-spirited, easy come, easy go. I don't care what happens. I have no plan and I'm just rolling with it. And then other days I'm like, oh my goodness, I have no plans. I have no this, you know, feeling the denseness of responsibility. Of course, I know my calling, and with anybody's opposition in their chart, is to straddle a balance between the two. And since I've gone through my Saturn return, I'm a lot better at doing that. But there is something about those clunkiness and sadness around you right now that tells me that not all of you have thought about the consequence yet, or you're starting to see the consequence. The Five of Swords. So the Five of Swords is, like I said, that invitation into shadow work and admitting and seeing where you don't know it all yet, where you have some flaws, where you've made mistakes. And I think somebody's going to put it to you this month, if I'm honest. Somebody might say to you, hey, Sagittarius, I don't think that's right. I don't really agree with that. Are you sure about that? The Five of Swords could be you then making a similar mistake that you have in the past. So forewarned is forearmed. I'll get into it in the extended, but just consider, if this is all you're watching, consider the consequences, and remember that this sort of stuck feeling is not a permanent state of affairs. It's actually here for you to process. I think the sadness you're feeling, like, I miss this person, I miss this experience, I miss this state of being, I miss the old me, I miss the old archetype. For example, some of you may be shifting archetypes and you're still holding on to something from the past, you know. I'm still sort of like in that shift between maiden and mother myself, having become a mother recently. I'm being aware of my shadow energies, of where I still am like wounded maiden, where I'm like, I still, obviously I'm like at certain points, I'm like, oh, I missed my old body, and instead, and I'm trying to cling to a maidenhood that is not there anymore. And I'm just trying to integrate the fact that why do I still care about that? Okay, so I still care somewhat about something that isn't the archetype that I should be fully embodying, which is mother, okay? And I'm getting there, and I'm being very forgiving with myself, because of course that's so normal and human, but it is, at least I have awareness. So Sagittarius, make sure you're bringing awareness to your shadow, okay? And if you can't think of what that might be, where your flaws, where your limitations, where your regrets and mistakes are, I feel like a realization will come closer then to the end of the month, into August, as to why you're still in essentially the same place, because enlightenment is still on the way to you. And once the enlightenment reaches you, August could look entirely different, okay? So just know that there's an invitation to do this for yourself first, around, I'm going to say the 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd of July. And if not, if you kind of put the hood up or the blindfold on and you continue to kind of just like ignore that, or procrastinate, or just ignore it. Basically, it just doesn't come up for whatever reason, because you're busy, because you're stressed, because you're focused on other things. The major arcana energy then of the Hanged Man towards the very end of the month going into August might even kind of stop you in your tracks a little bit, fully, for a moment. It's a purposeful stop. You're in all of these pauses and delays are purposeful. I hope you can realize that. Something will break through in your awareness though. Page of Swords. It could be a conversation, it could be an email, it could be feedback, it could be a comment, it could be just some sort of a breakthrough, a text message. I don't know, something does kind of like say, okay, I better sit with this and I better look with this. There is somebody who is here to counsel, to guide, to lead. Okay, now I get it. The King of Swords here, if you can see the way they're looking back at all of this, they are reviewing you and they're holding you. It's like the limit of this reading, like Saturn is the limit in the cosmos as far as we can see with the naked eye. And that's why it's associated with limits, a limitation. It's so cold, it's so far away, it's so distant. And sometimes the King of Swords can be cold and stern and distant and seem out of reach to us. What the King of Swords in this reading is doing is holding all of this here, like this. Like, you're not passing me, you're not getting by me, Sagittarius. I know you want to, but I'm going to reverse your ass. I know you want to just like skip over me, and instead of going over the mountain, you want to cut through it. I know you want to do that, it says. I know you want to rush and run and take off at a great speed, but I'm going to reverse you because it's not time. And okay. Saturn is saving you from embarrassment. Saturn is saving your reputation. Saturn is sort of protecting you from other people's resentment right now, or it's protecting you from making a mistake, making a similar regret. That's what's happening right now. So try not to see it as a party pooper, but they're going to be trying to, this energy that's around you now and that you're already aware of, like you're working with that energy, you're creating it for yourself, actually, on some level. The subconscious level has a lot of wisdom here, whereas consciously you just see this as like sad and boring and gloomy and annoying. Yes, this King of Swords is putting you in your place this month and holding you there, be it Saturn retrograde itself, or be it a person that you still have a lot to learn from, or this is a person that tells you that, you know, you've still got a lot of learning to do or a lot of growth here before this really takes off. I hope that makes sense. And I hate to be Saturnian in this reading, but take what resonates, leave the rest. I'm going to drop the extended below, and I can't wait to get into that. Thanks.